Okay, good afternoon everyone. We've called the press conference today to release Bermuda's crime statistics for the fourth quarter of 2010, which is a period between 1st of October and 31st of December, and also the year-end statistics for 2010. We reported extensively on firearms throughout the year, so the numbers on firearms incidents will not be new to you. A total of 70 confirmed firearms incidents occurred during 2010, nearly twice as many as the 37 incidents the year before. 7 people were fatally shot and 29 were injured by gunshot, again about double the number in the previous year. Of the 70 incidents, 39 were actual shootings at a victim, or in some cases, multiple victims. And the other 31 incidents account for forensic recoveries of firearms and ammunition where there was no victim involved. The police seized 9 firearms last year, 2 of which were air pistols, 1 of which was an imitation firearm, and 1 pistol magazine. 65%, or 127 of the total number of firearms reports, are classed as unconfirmed, and that means there is no evidence to support the call. In terms of investigations, in cooperation with the DPP's office last year, the police brought 8 people to trial in 2010 for firearms offences, and 7 of which resulted in conviction and sentences of imprisonment. A further 20 people have been charged before the courts for firearms offences and are awaiting trial in 2011. This significant increase in charges and convictions is due in no small part to the increase in cooperation from the community. And I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank the public for the support we are seeing across the island and the continued assistance that we are receiving in terms of information and tips. I would also like to recognize the courage of those victims and witnesses that continue to take the stand in court, and to acknowledge that without their testimony, we would not actually have the convictions that we do. And finally, I encourage everyone else in Bermuda to remember the part that they play in taking a stand against violent crime and providing information to the police to bring the remaining offenders to justice. Now, elsewhere throughout the crime report, there is far better news to report. In terms of total crime, the fourth quarter saw a drop of 15% over the previous quarter, and total crime for 2010 was actually 14% lower than the previous year. For the first time in 5 years, total crime has dropped below 5,000 crimes per annum, and it now stands at 4,575. The long-term trend of crime is showing a substantial decrease. The fourth quarter of 2010 and 2010 as a whole saw the lowest crime rate in the last decade. Crimes against the person, the main categories are homicide, assault, and robbery, showed a steady increase until the fourth quarter of 2009, and since then, it has shown a steady decrease. The fourth quarter last year recorded 7% fewer reports than the previous quarter, and crimes against the person for the year is 13% lower than 2009, which accounts for 121 fewer offences. Crimes against the community, the main categories are generally where there's no specific victim, such as firearms offences, weapons offences, and public disorder. This category fell by 18% in the last quarter, and the fourth quarter is the lowest since December 2008. Overall, 2010 compared evenly with 2009, with a marginal increase of 1%, or 9 additional crimes reported. Decreases in weapons offences and antisocial behaviour were unfortunately offset by increases in firearms offences and disorder offences. For crimes against property, where the main categories are burglary, vehicle theft, property theft, and fraud, crimes in this category showed a pronounced decrease over the last 5 years. The fourth quarter fell by 16% over the previous quarter, and 2010 fell by 18% in this category, which accounts for 646 fewer crimes. Decreases were recorded in all crimes in this category, including the three types of burglary: residential, non-residential, and hotel. Drug enforcement activity fell slightly by 11 offenses over the last quarter, but for the year, drug enforcement increased by 91%, or 467 additional interdictions and arrests. A total of $29.5 million worth of drugs was seized, compared with $11.1 million in 2009. And for last year, it includes $5.5 million at the ports of entry, primarily by the Customs Department, $750,000 of drugs taken off the street, and a significant portion of the total relates to a single overseas interdiction from the sailing vessel Fantasy in December, which is about $20 million. 2010 is now a record year for the police and the Customs Department in terms of both the value and the number of seizures of controlled drugs, with a total of 980 incidents. Across other enforcement activity, there were 9,400 stop and searches executed by the police in 2010. That is about 180 searches each week, and it is 3 times higher than the number of searches carried out in 2009. 5,082 arrests were made. That's about 100 arrests each week, and that's 11.5% more than the arrests last year. Top 5 reasons for arrest continue to be court warrant, which is about half, and the other categories are drugs, impaired driving, antisocial behavior, and property theft. 25% of all arrests involve recidivism, or where people are arrested more than once. It's important that I assure the public that stop and search and arrest numbers are not quotas for the police service. They are, however, good indications of higher police presence on the street. In order for police officers to conduct searches and make arrests, they have to be out on patrol in the first place. Traffic enforcement saw an 18% reduction over the year in parking tickets and traffic tickets, and road traffic collisions held about the same, or 29 fewer collisions than 2009, 13 fatal collisions, 839 injury collisions, and 1,400 damage collisions. Thank you.